Hi kids, this is Miss Jerry. So last week we learned about Jesus feeding over 5,000 people. So this is the same day Jesus and his disciples, after they get done with all that, they were very tired. So they needed to recharge their batteries. So Jesus said, don't worry about the crowd. I'll dismiss them and take care of them. You guys get in the boat and I'm going to push you out and I'll meet you on the other side tomorrow. So Jesus got his disciples into the boat. Later that night, he was alone there, and the boat was already a considerable way out in the lake. But the boat was buffeted by wind and waves. So they were in the middle of the lake. They weren't going anywhere. Jesus, after he prayed with his Father, and he got himself regenerated, recharged his batteries. It was very, very dark. So remember, there's no lights on that boat. They don't have flashlights. So the disciples were in the boat trying to row across the shore, with not going anywhere. And Jesus was walking on the water. And he was walking near the boat, but not too near. So the disciples saw somebody walking on the water. It was shortly before dawn. Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost! It's a ghost!" they all said. And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus said to them, "Take courage, it is I." And Peter replied. He was trying to see him, but they still couldn't see Jesus. But they kind of recognized his voice, but the wind was very strong, and the waves were making so much noise against the boat. And Peter, who was very brave, he replied, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come and walk on the water with you." Jesus replied, "Come." Then Peter climbed out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and the water was lapping up against his legs. The wind was howling, and all of a sudden, he couldn't feel the power of Jesus, and he felt the power of that wind and those waves. So Peter began to doubt, and he also began to sink. And immediately he cried out. He said, "Jesus, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. And he said, "Peter, you have little faith. Why did you doubt?" And Jesus, hand in hand, both of them climbed back into the boat. And immediately the wind died down. Then those other disciples that were in the boat, they said, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So Jesus had just fed 5,000 people. They knew the power of Jesus. But when things of life, like the coronavirus, keeping you from going to school, and you can't play with your friends the way you used to play with them, sometimes that makes you think about other things besides the power of Jesus. So this is an example of how Peter, even though he was brave, he was strong, and Jesus had given his disciples power to do miracles, they needed their faith recharged. And even though those winds of life come about, just remember, Jesus still has the power. No matter if you feel it or not, Jesus still has all that power. He cares about us, and he's going to take you hand in hand and climb back into that boat, just like he did with Peter, who was very strong and brave. But Peter doubted. He was a man, and we are all people. So when you begin to doubt and you begin to fear, Talk to the adults around you and tell them about your fear. And if you need help and you feel like you're all alone, just remember you're never alone. Jesus is always going to be there. And if you need help, talk to those adults around you, and always remember that the sun is going to come up the next day. That shows you the power of Jesus to recharge your faith. Every day that sun is going to come up. Look for it. And even if you doubt, trust in Jesus and recharge your faith. Bye, boys and girls. Good to see you. I miss you. Love you.